Welcome back to the podcast, everybody.
Welcome back. It's been a while.
It's been a hot minute, but I'm happy to be.
I mean,
I got things to talk
if you
about.
have-
I got things to
yeah.
say.
If you have nothing to say, like, don't say anything, right? So we waited a year till we had something to say, more give or
Yeah,
take.
that is how I feel about these sorts of
Yeah.
things.
I don't know. There's so much content out there. Why would we really want to, like, just, like, fill more kind of needless fluff?
Yeah, I agree.
Even if we're not feeding the algorithm, right?
Content
So-
for the sake of content, as opposed
But we've
to
been-
art for the sake of
yeah.
art. A little different.
We've been doing things though, which is
Yes.
nice. So we actually now have stuff to talk about.
Correct.
So.
We have not slacked off on our creative obligations at all.
Yeah. But before we kind of get into that, we have a really good conversation. We shot a film in 3 hours, essentially, which is always fun.
You say
and
always
we'll
fun
talk-
as if we do this like all the time.
every now and then. We've got a lot to talk about with that. But before we start on that, first of all, I'm Mateo,
And I am Zach.
and we make movies and a podcast, sometimes podcasts, and we're here to help you make your next film.
Very nice. Bravo.
Yeah, right. But what inspired you, Zach, this
Just
week?
in general,
Yeah, in general. Whatever. It can be anything. It could be your dog. I know your dog is very inspiring.
you say that, but he just sleeps all day and he's not making movies in 3 hours. Let me just say that.
That's an inspiration.
Let
to
me ask
I need
you.
to sleep
I
all
want to
day.
hear what inspired you first. Give me time to think.
Honestly, yeah. This week it's been The Drama, which is the Robert Pattinson and Zendaya movie that came out like a month ago, but it just sticks with me.
Emily really wanted
I
to see that one.
It's so good. I don't know if Emily would have liked it. All the advertising is a lie. It's like a black comedy, like really dark. It's amazing. It's one of those things where if you've had it spoiled for you, the spoiler doesn't matter at all, and you can still go watch it and it still surprises you because the big twists happens. I want to say like 20 minutes in tops. But if you haven't had it spoiled for you, go in completely blind because it is one heck of a film. Everything about it, it's just left me thinking about it. Oh, just every week I think like, I'll have a new like movie I really think about it. It's still The Drama.
Wow.
It's maybe my top film this year, and I know we're only in April, but so good. So that's all I'll say. Go watch The Drama. Take Emily, maybe. I don't know if she'll like it, but go watch it.
Okay, it was her idea to watch it, so if she doesn't like it, it's not gonna.
There you go. There
I
you
didn't drag
go.
her into it, but I'll tell you what didn't inspire me. You know what didn't inspire me?
What didn't inspire you?
The new Mario Galaxy movie.
I mean, what did you expect?
I expected a good time, and I did have a good time, but it feels like the Marvel of video games now.
A little bit. There's been 2 movies. I don't know if I would go so far as to say it's the Marvel.
Yeah,
of.
but the way they're building it out, I did like the
Yeah.
Star Fox cameo. I thought that was neat. It's definitely doing like a multiverse sort of thing, which I told Emily this, but I was like, now I kind of get what it's like to be an obnoxious Marvel fan. No shame. All right, no shame in that. But like you're in the movie theater and there's like a cameo and then there's like one guy in the audience that's like, oh my gosh, like, do you know what this means?
It's Pikmin.
It's like that's how I feel for the Mario movie. I'm like, did you guys see that reference? Which is fun, but I don't know if it was like it wasn't really doing a lot.
story-wise. And this is not an original idea. I saw a tweet about it, but like, it essentially like said that the Mario Galaxy movie was an analog to just jangling keys in front of, the audience. And I'm like, yeah, it's a bunch of really fun colors. The animation is nice. It's nothing to like write home about, really. I did like Donald Glover's Yoshi.
Yeah.
Because it's Donald Glover and the only word he says is just Yoshi over and over again. I thought that was fun, and that's specifically a part he like reached out to Nintendo and asked for.
Oh, really?
He's like, I want to be Yoshi, and they said, Yoshi just says one thing, which is Yoshi.
But so does Groot.
Yeah, and so does Groot. But Donald Glover was like, yeah, I know, I want to be Yoshi.
That's awesome.
We've teased it. We're ready. We're here. 3-hour movie. Specifically, Joel Haver's Oscars challenge.
Joel made us do it.
Yes, Joel made us do it, and that's okay. We like it.
Yeah, I guess I'll just start by saying that, so if you're unfamiliar, which you very well might be, every year, YouTuber Joel Haver does like he protests the Oscars, right? Because he doesn't like the Oscars. Mateo likes the Oscars. Mateo likes...
so much. You're throwing me under the bus
No,
here.
he loves
You're
it.
throwing me
He
under the
loves
red
it.
carpet.
He cannot wait to watch it. It was killing him that he couldn't watch it while we were making our movie instead. No, I'm kidding. But
I did go ahead and read through all like the winners when we had the cast around the table eating dinner afterwards.
which was hilarious because we just deliberately didn't watch it in protest.
and then we're like, let's go.
We kind of want to see what happened.
I'm curious. What can I say?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, but he protests the Oscars. He hates the Oscars, unlike Mateo. But this is a challenge I've been wanting to do for at least a couple years now. The challenge is you have basically while the Oscars is airing, so it's a 3-hour long like airtime, whatever.
Yeah,
you have to make a movie, an entire movie, and he does push you to do feature length. We didn't end up doing feature length. To be fair, not a lot of people this year did feature length, like maybe like 2. But it was fun, and it's a really cool challenge to make an entire movie in 3 hours. That does not count editing time. You have a week to edit it.
Yes, you have a week to edit.
But
and you can write the script kind of however long beforehand.
for sure. Which you did it roughly like a couple weeks before.
We didn't even have a script this time, which is something we can get into.
That is true.
Actually,
That is true.
If you want to go ahead.
So what I give you this challenge of like in March we're doing this thing, 3 hours to make a movie. What did you what were you thinking?
Okay, well, so the last time, and again, we were kind of shooting towards feature here, right? It was going to be like a feature-ish, like a 45-minute, which we did not hit by any means, but we'll get into why that is in a second. But the last time I had a short amount of time to write a feature film, was Hypnagogia, and I remember going like, how long it took me to write Hypnagogia as a script, on top of the fact that you can't really memorize 3 hours of lines as somebody who's not a professional actor, which none of our actors are, and that's like good on them for coming out and just making a movie for us in the first place. I'm not going to make them also memorize like some insane 90-page script. So as all of those kind of film ideas came together, I was like, what if I did sort of what they did with Pearl, which is the sequel to X by Ty West, and what if I just first did a short story, and then instead of writing a script off of a short story, we just kind of use the short story as the script, which honestly didn't work too badly. It wasn't too shabby.
Yeah, I don't think I would do it again, if I'm being honest.
No,
but
me either. I'm a script
I'm glad
guy.
that we tried it, because this project broke me out of my I want to be improvisational. I want to be like Joel Haver. I think there's...
I don't know if that's really
I don't think that's my thing.
I think we can ad-lib. I think we're great at ad-libbed sort of scripts. Like a lot of Choose a Wagon, which haunts us as our like biggest success, apparently. But
the
a lot
project
of that,
we peaked on.
Yeah. A lot of that was improvisational, but we did have a script, and we did follow that fairly closely.
And I think that's the balance for us. Like, that has worked really well.
Agreed. Because, there were some downsides to improvisation for sure this time. But I was, like, looking at, there's no realistic way to, at least for me in the time I had to write this, et cetera, for a feature script to come out of this. Maybe if I didn't have a job, I could have just like ground it out in a week. I don't know. As like a professional script writer, like it wasn't that complicated of a script. Regardless, I wrote, what was it, like a 5-page short story, 3-page short story?
I think it was like 4 or 5 pages. Yeah.
Yeah, 4 or 5 pages. Write up a short story. I got to really flex my short story writing skills,
It's fun.
which is not something
I like it.
It's not something I do a lot of anymore. And, I think I need to go back to it, because I really do enjoy writing prose that isn't just, script directions.
I appreciate scripts. I like having scripts. I like reading scripts. I hate writing scripts. that's kind of my problem. I've started writing more recently, and I do prefer the short story format for writing, specifically like fiction, nonfiction writing. But yeah, I just find like writing movie scripts to be really tedious.
Yeah, I get
But
it.
it shouldn't be. I don't know. It's probably a personal hang up. I think my issue is like when I'm writing a short story, I can focus on the prose, right? But with a screenplay, as like a visual director kind of person, cinematographer, I'm like thinking of the blocking and I'm thinking of
You get frozen up in the technicalities
yes,
of it.
which is it's good that I'm thinking of those things, but I need to be able to get the story out and then
Yeah.
think about it.
Think
after.
about those things in the second draft, you
Yeah,
know.
for sure.
Or if you're like me, don't think of them at all, and then it just kind of happens, and it's
And
fine.
put it on your your like co-creator, your
Well, the thing
collaborator.
is, I'll put those into the script, and then they get ignored anyway because you have a vision for it. So
Yeah, that is true.
I win either way. No, but so I put that out. I gave that to you like what, like a week before?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I really
I had a decent amount of time to
yeah.
like think it through.
You know, I was getting slammed with work, so that's kind of a blur around it. But we got it together and we did it. So I sent that to you. I gather together a bunch of actors, some of whom we hadn't worked with before. We got a lot of really fun actors together with some really great props. And then we went out and shot it on like the coldest day of the month for
And
some
windiest.
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, and windiest. The wind was killer.
Before we get into the actual shoot day, just to kind of like be a little bit preachy for a moment, there's not technically just one way to make a movie. Like as Joel Haver has taught us,
Yeah.
you know, you can
As we have taught in many
us,
ways.
there are many different ways to approach planning a project. And while I don't think that the way that we approached this one was like the best way, I'm still proud of I'm proud that we tried something new. One thing I did leading up to the shoot was I took the script and I kind of broke it down into beats, and then I implemented it with the schedule. So it was one doc that had the schedule and like the scenes that we're going to be shooting and the relevant info for those scenes. And that's something I might actually do again.
It was very helpful. I really like. I was like, oh, we're really behind schedule, and then on some shots, I was like, oh no, actually, it's fine. Like we're doing great.
It was
And
just
sometimes
nice to
it was-
have like a single
Yeah.
source of truth for the film too,
Yeah.
because instead of like flipping through a short story trying to like find the relevant
Yeah.
section for it.
The scene was right there, and you knew how long you had to shoot it. Which on a day where we can just take our time, we're shooting a very small scene, or you know, like maybe a handful of scenes, and we're not doing much. We're maybe 5 pages that day, and it's all really easy stuff. Like, yeah, it doesn't really matter. We can do our thing and just, you know, screw around. And then it's like, oh no, if this took 30 minutes more than it should have, there's no issue. But when like we were down to the wire within, I think, what, 5 minutes of the deadline?
We were right there. I think it was right
Yeah.
at 9 when we wrapped.
I think we like struck, and like while we were striking the set, that's when the deadline hit. Like it was that
Which was
close.
cool. That was just like a happy accident, I
Yeah,
guess.
I was so happy. I was like, you know, we started on time. We didn't even start early. We perfectly fit it within that 3 hours, and I'm very proud of us for it. But part of that really helped was the breakdown that you had. So I think that's definitely especially for time where we don't have that economy of time where we need
Yeah.
definitely valuable.
And it's something I think I might like take and use again for future projects. Just like have relevant scene notes, and then have like I like to break things into beats, and beats are basically just actions. Just have like the actions that I need to record, kind of a shot list. It doesn't have to be like super in depth, but yeah, I thought that was really helpful.
For sure. So after that, to kind of walk you all through this, I coordinated it with everybody. I got yeses and nos. Some people got like sick, so we had to like recast.
That is true. I
but-
forgot that Colton was sick and wasn't able to
Yeah.
to play the lead.
which is sad because I was looking forward to tying him to a chair in the middle of the
Yeah.
woods. We got the crew together, the cast. It was really solid group. Everybody wanted to be there and wanted to be making art, which I think is like we've had crews where people are definitely want to be there, but they're not as committed to the project as we are. And seeing like a bunch of people just go, hey, we want to do like this crazy, like just this crazy little stunt with you guys. It was really heartening. It reminded me like that, like it's not just me and Zach in a room where Zach's pointing a camera at me while I crawl around on the floor. There are other people that make film with me, which I really liked. But we got them all together. In this case, I was able to essentially fully devote myself to the sort of producer role, which I think was really helpful because I didn't have to keep popping in and out of, obviously you're spinning a lot of plates, you're wearing a lot of hats, you're juggling a lot of balls, bowling pins, knives, whatever you want to call it.
Ball peen hammers.
Ball peen hammers. So like you're doing a lot as an indie filmmaker, but being able to really slot myself into the producer role was really valuable for this, I think. Especially with a film that just needed that much timing on the shoot. We couldn't drag and we could speed up, but we rarely ever did. So we kind of needed to get after it. And so being able to be producer let me, coordinate with location, which was just my parents' house, but, coordinate with my parents. Hey, we're going to be eating dinner at this point. Hey, we're taking a break. Hey, do we have any snacks? Hey, what's or do we have a chair? Because we were originally just going to use just a tree.
True.
But then Zach found the perfect location.
Oh, I did. Thanks to your brother.
Yeah, thanks to my brother who dug a big pit.
And by a big pit, this thing was like 15 feet deep. I don't know how your brother dug this, but we might show the film later. But if we don't, watch the movie because there's like a 15-foot deep hole.
Yeah, which is just there, so we shot in front of it. It was very fun.
We should have filmed in the hole, actually. In retrospect, we should have put Roz.
You really want to go into that hole, don't you?
It was made for me.
But we had a good time, and I really think being able to be producer on that took a lot of the load off of Zach's shoulders, which matters less, again, when you have, 3 hours to shoot 2 scenes, less so when you're shooting the entire film in that time.
No, for sure.
And I think that it was very valuable to like be able to work within that producer role and actually like be good at it, rather than being like, hey, I'm the star and the producer, and I'm trying to memorize lines that I also wrote, and then I'm doing rewrites because, Hypnagogia was Hypnagogia. But there was a lot of, within Hypnagogia, a lot of that I was able to like, I was like, I don't know if I could really produce well. And then we come to this and I'm like, oh, okay, if I really concentrate and just stick with it, I can produce, and it's solid.
Right.
So that felt good.
Another thing that helped us was we shot the film chronologically. So that was great. Something we need to do more often.
Yeah. If at all possible, I want to shoot all my films chronologically from here on out.
I'm right there with you because, like, for so many reasons, like continuity is one. Not that continuity mattered as much for this movie because it's very episodic's not the right word, but it's
essentially episodic.
But when you're giving directions to actors and their performance is supposed to evolve throughout the piece, it just really helps to like see it develop in real time instead of being like trying to get ahead of it. Like, oh, actually, the first scene that we're filming is the one where you're terrified and losing your mind, and the last scene we're filming is the one where you're calm and it starts the film or whatever.
Additionally, I've noticed like a lot of actors just as they continue to act within the character, no matter how good they are at understanding the character from the outset and really working with that, you can even see their approach progressing as the shoot goes on, which is great. I mean, it happens to professionals, and a lot of times the really, really good ones will like have read the script and can tell from point A to point B. But even so, like there's a maturing in the character as they get more comfortable. You can see that on TV a lot.
Yeah, shooting chronologically definitely gives, especially non-professional actors, the chance to discover the character as they're playing it, and that helps a lot.
For sure. So that like being able to like, oh yeah, they're maturing in the role as they get more used to it, and that's not an issue because we're shooting chronologically. So there's no weird like, hey, that inflection was different, because we're not hopping around to whatever location lets us film, whatever scene first. And it was the 3-hour limit was nice because it was essentially almost like doing a stage play. where everybody has to be there because it's 3 hours. And we actually, this is, I believe, a first. We went and rehearsed essentially the whole thing. And though the blocking did significantly change after rehearsal, like we rehearsed the whole film before shooting
Right.
it, which was really valuable for like how quick we had to do
For
it.
sure. And you know, when you're right, like we were able to start rolling and people already kind of knew what they needed to do, and a lot of the notes had already been given. So I am a big fan of rehearsing. Speaking of like lessons learned from this project that I want to carry to future projects, I kind of like rehearsing. And like I would
Yeah.
love to just spend a day rehearsing before even
I
rolling.
mean, Francis Ford Coppola for Rumblefish rehearsed the entire film in like a gymnasium before shooting. And he shot that all on video, and then he actually, I believe he had to like show the studio his like rehearsal he shot on videotape for them to be like, okay, go film this for real. Because, you know, it was post-apocalypse now, I guess post One from the Heart Coppola, where nobody would give him money, so he had to get that funding somehow.
So we talked about like leading up to the project and your mindset of wanting to write a short story and how you wanted to format that to like meet the tight deadline. But how did you come up with the actual idea for the script?
You know, it originally started out as like sort of like a conversation with death, right? It was a very, you know, playing chess at the seaside with the personification of death, and it like I was originally going to like maybe riff on sort of an Orson Welles misunderstood genius sort of character. And I got a few paragraphs into that, and I was like, you know, I'm liking the direction this is taking, but it's just not punchy enough. Like, I feel like other people have done this perhaps better than me. And yeah, I can have a guy talking with another guy for 3 hours, and that's fine. But like, it doesn't make me want to watch. And it's not like I have access to some insane character actor. It's not like I have Daniel Day-Lewis, you know, that I can really bounce people off of and it'll be fun. Like, I have just my friends who are great actors, but not, you know, not to the level that I can just say, well, the audience is going to stick around just to watch them. So I started to punch it up, and then I sort of did like, this film is essentially like the Ghost of Christmas Past, the Ghost of Christmas Present, the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come, from A Christmas Carol. But instead of ghosts, it's serial killers, and I'm just making it really zany. So that's really what I tackled it from, is essentially like your life is currently being ruined by a bunch of people who just don't know what they're doing, just complete incompetence. So why not like show that through film, through a bunch of serial killers who can't seem to kill you? And that was the direction I took, and that's how I wrote it.
Yeah, I thought it was really funny. I thought it, you know, it turned out well. I'm happy with how the project turned out. I don't think it's my like favorite, but we're also coming off the back of Hypnagogia, so
yeah, which was a fantastic film. We saw it in theaters
recently, a couple weeks ago.
A few weeks ago, which I really enjoyed. And it made me fall in love with it again, especially seeing it, you know, up on the screen with other films. It was you know, high production value, and then we're coming here to, you know, essentially just a bunch of people in the woods and there's a chair. Essentially no production value, but still so much fun to shoot.
No, I enjoyed both projects for what they are. We also screened Does God Love Robots at the festival, which was fun. You say you called Hypnagogia like, you know, higher. You said it was
high production
had higher production value, but like, I don't know.
I bought real blanks for that.
It was
one.
cool, but like in light of some of the other movies that were filmed more traditionally, I was like, man, like they were. This is no shade on the other movies, but like I really liked what we did because it didn't feel like it was trying to imitate Hollywood, but it was also like doing cool things story wise, and I don't know. We got a fun thing.
We focused on making a movie more than making something that is a movie.
Yeah, I can see that. Or yeah, I won't say anything else because it'll come out wrong and I won't mean it.
Then it'll just sound like we're being mean to like other filmmakers,
which is not what I want to do. Obviously, on a podcast that's meant to inspire
Yeah.
filmmakers. But
Yeah. Hey guys, you suck.
But yeah, back to the Oscars challenge thing.
So back to the Oscars challenge. So I get the script out to you. We get all the actors together. We rehearse, and then this is really where I have to go. Like, Zach, how did you approach shooting everything just one after another? Obviously, we rehearsed it, but you had the camera. How are you framing things? Kind of walk me through.
I did have the camera. My strategy for this movie was to just get a really good master shot of every single scene. That way, like if we are short on time, we can always fall back to that master. And there's a couple times where I did have to do that. The first scene of the movie is the most visually diverse, which I enjoyed. You know, I like the inserts. I like, you know, having a master. I like having a close up. I like having the reverse shot. Just a couple little shots to supplement the edit and keep it engaging.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that about like the first scene, but I didn't have that luxury for the second scene because I got behind from the first scene. But it worked out. You know, we still told the story, and like the acting worked out, and we're moving things ahead and doing things in the spirit of the challenge. But I was able to, like, you know, when I was running out of time, it was fine because it's like, well, I have the master shot. I have like my one insert shot that I can cut to.
Mm-hmm.
We can move on. And so I also wanted to, like, I approached the cinematography almost like a stage play. And so there's a couple of scenes where the victim of the movie, who's named Herman in the script but was played by Roz, is like kind of like on a dirt mound, like a sand pile, which is all of the dirt that was dug up from the hole.
Yeah,
that's like 15 feet deep.
15 cubic
Yeah,
feet.
it's huge. That's what it was from. But we kind of played it on that, and
Almost like a stage.
yeah, it felt like that. And so when I saw that, I don't think I had the idea to make it like a stage play until we found that location on the day, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it just started to click. So that was my strategy. I was also using a new piece of equipment, several new pieces of equipment. And so I was kind of, you know, I didn't want to like try too hard when I was still learning the equipment. And I really tested out that new camera on this project.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, tested out how like sand-proof it was.
it's not very sandproof, but
Did it make it out all right?
yeah, I think so.
Okay. Have you used it since?
No.
Oh, well, okay, we'll
Yeah.
see. You also did dangle it, just freehand dangling it over a 15-foot
I
drop.
did. Anything for the shot.
Not giving me a heart attack that you're going to fall to a sandstone death and we'd be...
See, I would ask myself, I would never ask someone else to do that, but I would, you
True.
know,
Yeah.
it was a cool shot. So watch the movie if you
Hey,
want.
If it works, it works. Another question I had for you is we had a lot of new actors this
Mm-hmm.
time. I think the majority of the people we had on screen we'd never worked with before. I think Roz was the only one.
True.
The only actual recurring actor. Well, and Patrick.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
Both of them we'd worked with before. But the majority of them we hadn't. And a lot of them weren't film actors before this. They'd done stage or voice acting. Even though there's not actually a lot of vocal performance in this film. But kind of walk me through like your process and approach to such a time-intensive project with people that had never acted before.
Yeah, like,
Or at least not with you.
you know, my directing skills could definitely use a lot more work. And like part of that's due to the fact that like we do a lot of like kind of horror, and there isn't a lot of acting that we actually
Sit there and look scary.
or just like look scared or scary. Those are like our two emotional, like that's it.
Roll out of bed all funny.
Yeah. So I wasn't really worried about like their level of experience at all. I think I just kind of wanted to, and I'm glad we rehearsed because it allowed me to figure out a lot leading up to the shoot. Like during the rehearsal, just letting people play the scenes, and then I would have ideas for like how they could take their character and how they could play their character. And then they would have their own ideas too that they would bring to the table. So it just kind of worked out. I feel like I lucked out. I don't think I did anything special.
We had a fantastic group, so like I never had any real fear, but I was just wondering if you had any takeaways from working with people that you hadn't worked with before on a film that really didn't allow you to just sit there and work through it.
Yep, it was just all luck.
Just all luck. All right, that's good. Good to hear. Kind of off of this, talked about the actual shoot, some of the challenges, right? The sand and the camera. The time, obviously, being a challenge, and losing light. That was a big one. And working with actors. We've talked about the script. And I think now it's time for a little Zach Skier.
Oh, we're doing Zach Skier Corner now?
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. Zach Skier Corner!
For Zach Skier Corner today, we haven't done very many Zach Skier Corners, like in our most recent episodes, just because, like...
There's only so much gear you can buy. Not so much... Like, you have the ability to buy a lot, but your wallet only lets you buy so much.
There's that, and also gear's just kind of, I don't know, one of the most uninteresting parts of filmmaking. And I say that as someone who doesn't always, like, practice what I preach there.
It's time for your Apple Crate. Look at my Apple Crate.
Like, once you have a good tripod and a good camera and, like, some good little wireless mics, you can kind of make whatever you want. Like, there's a lot of... Anyways, it doesn't matter. A lot of it
this time
I did buy a new camera.
Shake all the sand out of it now.
Felt a few.
There's
some grains. I did like blow it out. I think it's fine. It does have these huge intake vents and outtake vents right here.
Yeah, perfect to fit more sand.
Yes,
in.
but I was looking for a camera. I sold it actually. My Panasonic S5, which is a little mirrorless camera. And on a lot of video projects, I was tired of a couple of things. One, it's not technically a video camera, so it does have a recording limit. So you can't record for more than 30 minutes on it without like changing some settings. And there's some...
There goes our like 1 hour shot of one man eating cereal.
Our oneer.
The cereal one.
So that was kind of annoying for me because I would use it to film events every so often and interviews, and I would have to start and stop, and that's just not fun. And the other thing was the codec selection. The camera took a great image. We filmed Hypnagogia on it, and I was happy with Hypnagogia.
Oh yeah.
But like even seeing it in theaters, I was like, like there's definitely like a mirrorless camera look. It's a great sensor, but it's limited by the codec that it has. Anyways, so without nerding out too much, I needed a camera with no recording limit, intra-frame codecs, and preferably built-in ND filters. And then the bonus was to have like a huge screen to work with. Most cameras have really small screens and they're annoying.
Yeah.
And I don't really like to rig out my cameras that much because it's obnoxious and fiddly.
Your monitor is fun. I will say that the big monitor you had, I think you sold it actually, but
I've had several.
yeah.
I never enjoy working with them. I mean, the image is nice, but I just don't like everything.
A monitor for me is purely for if I'm going to be locked off.
True.
I don't... And we do so much handheld, it really doesn't make sense.
So the beauty of the Pocket Cinema camera, massive 1500 nit 5-inch screen on the back that it doesn't articulate, but it tilts. So it does that. Very nice. You can see it in daylight viewable. It's got built-in ND filters, so no more screwing on ND filters on and off. It has like a six stop, up to 6 stop, 3-stage ND filters. So you have 2 stop, 4 stop, 6 stop. And I mean, overall, like unlimited recording times, raw video, ProRes, which is an intra-frame codec, and I like to work with ProRes a lot.
Oh yeah, we know you like to work with ProRes.
Do we know that? You know that.
Yeah, I know that at least. Maybe we do now, I suppose.
Honestly, it's just a workhorse, and I told Emily, who's my wife, I was like, kind of thinking of a new camera, and she's like, it has to last you 5 years. I was like, I can do that. And so this is my 5-year camera. And It's not sexy. It's kind of ugly. It's an ugly looking camera.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
I can 3D print you like a little dangly thing to hang off the side of it if you want to make it pretty.
A little keychain.
Yeah, exactly. Like a little blingy for phones like they had back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Like for flip phones.
Why
don't
we do that anymore?
We've got iPhones. We've got these bricks.
True. Yeah, you could put a keychain on there.
Yeah.
But anyways, so we used this on the project that we were just talking about, the 3-hour Oscars shoot, which is called Kill Me Already, by the way.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that was the maiden voyage. I learned some interesting things about the camera. It takes Sony NPF style batteries, which are pretty common. They're these.
Oh yeah, the
You
classic.
find these on everything, which is nice that it takes them because I already have like 15 batteries. But it will work with all of them. However, you have to be mindful of the like how much power they provide. So the 2600 milliamp hour Sony NPF batteries do work with the camera, but not when the screen is at max brightness, which I didn't know. So I popped the battery in when it was at like 50% brightness. At some point, I turned it to 100%, and it wouldn't turn on. It would like instantly shut itself off, and I didn't know it.
Because it was just burning through the battery.
It wasn't
way too
burning through the
fast.
battery. The battery couldn't
okay.
supply enough power to the camera
okay.
when it was drawing extra power from the 100% battery, 100% bright screen.
Yeah, and in that daylight bright screen is one of the factors for why you bought the camera.
It is. I mean, 50% brightness is pretty dang bright considering that it's 1500 nits still, so very usable. But it was scary to discover on this shoot.
Yeah,
And
where you're like,
I didn't know
"Uh-oh,
what was happening.
did sand get in somewhere?"
I mean, it was my first time using it, and I bought it used,
Yeah,
so it
true.
could have been defective. Like, I didn't know what was happening. But all the other batteries worked, and I discovered it's because of the wattage. So,
Yeah.
Zach's Gear Corner has a little mini PS.
The moral of Zach's Gear
Yeah.
Corner: make sure your battery output is where it needs
Which
to
isn't a thing you have to worry about with other cameras, because, like, they have proprietary batteries for that specific camera. So all of the batteries you buy for it are going to have the right wattage, but NPF batteries are so like widely used that they make them for different devices, and some don't need as much power and some need more. So yeah,
be. Well, you're stuck with this one for 5
I am.
years.
I didn't even
so-
say what it was. It's the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro. Just a mouthful.
Sure is.
Yeah.
And you got a bunch of lenses for it too.
I did not. Those were
Oh.
all lenses I already had.
Oh, okay. So you made sure that was cross-compatible
Yep.
as well.
With some adapters.
I just had to do a lens change like 17 times, just back and forth for 2
Mm-hmm.
of them. I remember that fondly.
Mateo remembers.
Yeah, just running through tall grass.
I would ask Mateo to go get a lens for me, and then I would be like, actually, I want the different one. And he's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I'm serious. And a couple of those times.
And I go back, and then you're like, hey, hold on. For the same lens change, you had me go back and get it for you again.
I need to buy a good zoom lens. I'm about to buy a good zoom lens, so you don't have to do that
Okay.
again. But
All right, you're saving my legs.
it was a little bit out of spite. But yeah, that's it for Zach's Gear Corner. New camera. It's exciting. And that's all.
All right, well, I think it's time then for the news.
Let's do it.
And now, the news. Meta is trimming 10% of its workforce and replacing it with AI. After all, with the majority of Facebook users being bots, why not let the staff join in? President Donald Trump is set to return to the White House Correspondents' Dinner for the first time in over a decade. We predict that this will generate no controversy in the least and won't even make the news. And Bill Hader's feature directorial debut horror film is coming soon. There's no jokes about this one. I'm just really jazzed about this. And this has been the news. All right, that's your news, Zach. What are your thoughts?
The meta thing is unfortunately a sad trend.
Yeah. You know, the economy just isn't doing well, and funnily enough, the AI, like, if you keep laying people off with AI, they will not have the jobs that give them the money to buy the products, and it's just a downward spiral. So eventually, I think we'll figure out where the sweet spot with AI as a tool is.
For sure. Honestly, I see I see this as like just a bad trend in the jobs industry that's kind of independent from AI. Like AI, this is just my perspective, but it seems like that's the excuse for a lot of the layoffs and mass hirings and mass layoffs.
Yeah.
But like that's kind of been the case for a long time. And just AI is like the current justification for it. Like there is.
It sounds better than, hey, our company's failing and we can't afford to pay our workers, so we're instead using AI. Which is what it is it's we were in this weird like shadow recession where nobody wants to say that we're in a recession, but like jobs are just in the toilet, you know. It's like the 2006 to 2007 before it actually like properly crashed. That's kind of where we are right now. That's again not like an academic economic.
We're just going off vibes.
Yeah, we're going off of vibes, right? So like the Bureau of Labor Statistics has better numbers than I do, but essentially like we're kind of in a spot where a lot of companies are seeing falling revenue because things are bad, and they have been bad since you know, like 2022 at least, post COVID, as like things are shaking out. And at the same time, AI is coming in and they're saying, hey, you can replace all these white collar earners with AI that essentially puts out the same slop that they do.
Yeah, it's hard to say, especially like from the outside looking in. I will say, there's
again,
a lot of tools that save me a lot of time at work, which is why my perspective has always been like instead of replacing people with AI, what if everyone was more productive with AI? Like that seems like a better longer term strategy.
We've had this conversation, I believe, on this podcast too before. We're talking about that exact same thing.
There's a lot to say about it. I mean, it's too much for just commenting on it in this segment.
Yeah, this is a film I'm just seeing a lot with AI kind of taking all these traditional Hollywood jobs and putting a bunch of people in LA out of work, and then they're like, well, I don't want to move out of LA, but the only reason I could afford to be in LA was because I was getting paid to do jobs that have now are being done by a robot. So, but that's enough about the economy. What are your thoughts on Bill Hader's new movie?
I actually haven't heard anything about it. Oh, yes, I have. I think you told me about it.
Yeah. Bill Hader, obviously he's best known for SNL, for various comedies he's done. But recently he's been killing it as writer and sometimes director, showrunner, and the star of Barry, his HBO series, which was honestly some of the best TV I've seen, just period. Like, I like it better than Severance. But he's turning to horror right now, which is like crazy.
Yeah, that's a weird direction to go.
It's not
horror,
weird,
but it feels like lower brow.
Yeah, like when you look at Jordan Peele, right?
It seems like a thing you start with, but you don't.
Yeah.
I guess that's what he's doing.
But you see, like Jordan Peele, for example, he is a renowned comedian. He's done so many skits. He's top of his game, and then he comes out with Get Out, right? Which is like a very it's a fairly highbrow horror film. It got nominated for a bunch of stuff. It's one of the best horror films of the 2010s, and everybody lost their minds because they're like the funny guy from, a bunch of different skits from Key and Peele. The Key and Peele guy is making like horror that's not just like a slasher flick or something, but it's something that like deeply unsettling that really got people. Elevated horror. I hate using elevated horror, but there's elevated horror. And then he does, most recently Nope, right? Again,
very good,
in that vein of like really solid horror. So I think Bill Hader might have it. He obviously really knows how to direct, which is more, kind of crime or action, with Barry. Still comedic, right? But like, really, really well done action scenes and emotional directing. He was just phenomenal in that series. You have to watch it if you haven't. And it's fairly short. There's like 30 minutes episodes, and it's like 10 episodes a season.
I appreciate that more than the feature-length episodes.
Really tightly done. You will not want to finish this series. It's so good. You just want it to keep going. But I foresee, and this movie is titled They Know, I foresee They Know being like pretty darn good, just considering who's behind it and his writing chops and his acting chops and his comedic chops. And for some reason, comedians really know how to do horror. One of the Whitest Kids You Know guys did Weapons last year.
Oh, okay.
Which Amy Madigan in that won an Oscar for it, which is crazy because like horror never wins Oscars, especially not horror performances.
Right. Yeah, well, let me know when that comes out, and
Yeah, we'll go see it
Yeah,
together.
we'll check it
That'll
out.
be like our movie homework.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I don't have any this episode. This episode we're just surviving.
I
but-
have some homework for you. It's to go play the Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake because it's really good.
trying to get me play video games is like pulling
Especially
teeth.
old
You know
school
this.
JRPGs.
Yeah, old school JRPGs. That's not necessarily up my alley. But yeah, that's been the news. We have no other news to discuss at all. So, kind of, what are your closing thoughts? That we did this challenge. What did you feel about the challenge?
have
I
a
don't think we
question.
talked about the challenge
I have a question
enough.
for you. Do you feel like Joel Haver has taught you anything through this challenge?
Honestly, I don't know if he taught me this as much as he just reminded me of it, but it's that you can make like solid, meaningful art on like no budget. And like I knew that, right? But like you can go out with people and basically shoot something by the seat of your pants and it can actually turn out pretty
Right.
good. And I think our short film turned out pretty good. I enjoyed it. You know, the cast, when we screened it, they enjoyed it. Like, it's funny.
Which that alone made it worth it, getting those reactions
yeah.
and just
I mean, that's really who we were making it for, is just everybody
involved, yeah.
as a group. It's not like we were trying to get into the Oscars or anything.
And on that note, like oftentimes, like I fall into this trap of like, well, I want to make a movie, but I don't want to ask people to like work on it. I don't want to like ask too much because I always feel like I'm asking too much. And that mindset just, it makes it to where I don't like make things as often as I would like to. Like we will make a couple movies a year or something like that. But like we could probably do a lot more. It's just like I often get kind of worried about like asking too much of people. But the reality is like when you're making movies, especially this last movie, you're giving people an opportunity to make something too. Like I think it was as rewarding, if not like in some ways more rewarding for our the talent involved with this last project as it was for us making the movie. It didn't
I totally
it didn't
agree.
feel like a movie like this is Zach's movie or this is Mateo's movie and we're making it because they we're helping them make this. It's like I think everyone involved saw it as a creative outlet as well, and then they
a collaborative act.
and they got to we screened it for them and they got to like enjoy it, like this nice little like polished kind of movie. It's not like that polished or anything, but for like something that was made so quickly, like I don't think anyone except for Roz and Patrick have been in like a movie before. So like it's a cool opportunity to see yourself in a narrative setting and for that to also be a creative outlet. So like I guess like what I've learned from this project is just I've discovered kind of a mindset shift that's like make movies as an opportunity to give people the opportunity to make things.
Yeah. I think a kind of another angle to this is we've gotten pretty good about making sets fun. Like, there's nothing fun about being whipped with like 30-mile-per-hour winds while you're sitting in the cold and there's sand getting in your teeth and like, there's a lot of stuff going on that is definitely not pleasant. Maybe a little type 3 fun, like running an ultra marathon or something. But like everybody was having a blast, and I remember towards the end of the night, we had someone, they were on one of our talent, they were on platforms wearing a mask they couldn't see out of in the dark. There was like a cactus nearby that, as the producer, I was like, okay, I'm going to guide you around the cactus. And you said something like, let me tell you, like, normally shoots are much shorter and much more fun. And they were like, oh, I'm having a blast. Like, being on that set was fun, even if it was like not fun to be, dangling over a hole with your very expensive camera, et cetera, et cetera.
No, that was my favorite part.
Yeah. But, even if there were elements that were like, yeah, this is suboptimal, I would like it to be a little warmer. I would like to be able to feel my fingers, et cetera, et cetera. We managed to have a decent amount of fun, like, as a cast on set. And I think that's very valuable to preventing that sort of, especially end of the shoot burnout. Everybody's grumpy. Everybody wants to go home, which everybody was grumpy and wanted to go home, but they were having too much fun to really care. And of course, you know, I say that, and I'm sure our next shoot will be like utter misery for some reason, but I really value a fun shoot. Often I will have, and this gets in the way of Zach's kind of lean crew philosophy, but often I will have like a few friends that really don't need
to be there.
Like, they don't need to be there in as much as like they do help around. You know, if somebody's like, hey, I need a lens change, like they'll hop up and go do it. It's fun to have like essentially a PA who's there to hang out and eat snacks. But I'll have them there just because it really helps morale to have just like a camaraderie rather than just 3 people in the woods shooting one person tied to a chair. You know, having those extra people there, people who they could have gone back up to the house where it was warm, but they wanted to be on set to enjoy the feeling of the set. And I thought that was really valuable.
Be able to watch the process too.
Yeah.
And watch their friends, like, you know, goof around and improvise and whatnot. Yeah, no, I agree. It was a lot of fun, and yeah, I would do it again. Now, specifically, how did you feel about the creative constraints? Like, is this a thing that you would want to do again, or would you rather do a similar thing, but like, you know, do it in a little bit more time or less time?
That's kind of one of those things where you're like, you know, we do an indie movie, right? We do a little short, and you're like, hey, would you have liked to have more money for this or less money for this? And it's like, yeah, of course I'm gonna want like more money for props and production value. You know, it's like asking you like, hey, would you rather shoot on that Blackmagic Pocket Cinema, which is great, or would you have the newest, greatest like Alexa?
I'd rather have,
you know.
Yeah, it's more usable, but I know what you mean. I'm just being annoying.
But you know, it's like, would you rather have like the perfect cinema camera with, you know, like a dolly and all of that? Like, yeah, I'm gonna want to have like all the gadgets so I can get everything, you know, and get it perfectly right, instead of having to like use a big flashlight, which is what we did.
It worked.
As the sun went down. It worked. The flashlight worked, but as we did that, I was definitely like, yeah, I would have preferred to have like a normal light. I don't need to do the flashlight again.
I don't think the movie would have benefited much from more time, from my perspective.
No,
like
no.
We
built
a couple
it
of
not
scenes
to
would
have
have
more
had
time.
a couple extra shots, so I would have had some more options in the edit. But that's kind of it. And I think that
I would have liked more light personally.
Yeah, I mean, most of it, like 80% of the movie was lit pretty well just with the sun, you know.
Yeah.
But
until it wasn't, and then it was like,
well, I had planned for that to be the dark scene.
And we did shoot chronologically, so that wasn't an issue.
Sure. Yeah, it does help with continuity. But yeah, I mean, like there is this tendency to overplan, and like I could imagine, like if we didn't have this time constraint, we'd probably still be working on this movie, and it would have ended up the same, or pretty close to the same. So I appreciated the exercise for that reason. Is it an arbitrary limitation? Like, yes, but
I mean, it forced us to get creative, because if we had been able to just go, oh, we'll come back tomorrow to shoot the rest of this, like it wouldn't have been any better than just, hey, Mateo, go get a big flashlight from Costco and just shine it behind Patrick to like light him as an alien.
Yeah, it works,
you know, and it was fine. Like, I do think there was value to be had from the constraint. First of all, just the logistics of shooting this had to be a certain way, and they really did form the film. Now, if you said like, hey, would you have started earlier that day? I definitely would have. Make it more of a 5-hour shoot than a 3-hour shoot. But at the same time, I think it turned out just fine for what it was. I don't think the time constraint hurt it in any way that mattered.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like the constraint can be like what I want to do from this project is not feel like I have to make every project a 3-hour challenge, you know, but at least be able to take that like done is better than perfect mentality and just kind of keep rolling with it. Because like
quick and dirty,
you know, the audience doesn't see the shots that don't get made. You know, like they're not going to mourn the loss of things that never existed. And I mean, you might, but
this is actually something we kind of found a related lesson in the shooting of Hypnagogia, where we had all these sort of filler shots that you were like, can we just cut this? And it wouldn't have worked if we had just cut it, right? Because we need that filler shot. But every time we came upon one of those filler shots, we had the constraint of we need this shot in the film, and it's boring right now. And we just kind of went hog wild and got a really weird angle or played with lighting in a way that was interesting. And the constraint of having to put this into the film and it can't look like every other shot that looks the same really helped.
Yeah. No,
I think this in the same way, this is like the lighting, we were forced to be creative around it. Those constraints can help.
I agree.
Well, that was our breakdown of our 3-hour film, Joel Haver Oscar Challenge. I guess, do you have any final thoughts for the pod?
I don't right now, but I'm probably going to end the call and then think of like a dozen things.
Yeah, okay, that's how it always goes.
I will say, before I forget, that the movie that we made will be in the description. So if you want to check it out.
Yeah, go check it out. It's a good one. I enjoyed it. It's funny.
It is.
It's goofy.
We're in our, we were talking about this before we recorded, but we're in our dark comedy era, more or less.
I'm down for it.
Me too.
Why not? Well, I've been Mateo.
And I've been Zach.
We'll see you next time that we have something to talk about.
On Your Next Film, the podcast
Go
where
make
we
a
help
movie.
you make your next film.
Your next film. Go make a movie now.
Do it in 3 hours.
Yeah.
All right.